savage kittens ravaged my power supply cable, and taping it up worked for a little while, but it didn't work for very long. So this is a little movie about fixing my MacBook power supply cable. At first I wanted to see what I was dealing with. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I had bought a knockoff power supply, but you see here it has a melty spot, and when I plug my computer into it and then I talk on headset when I'm stage managing, everyone can hear a hum if I touch my computer. So I had to solve this problem. I bought a new cable lead on Amazon, and I watched a couple of videos about how to open one of these cases, but it seems like a pretty tough and destructive process. So then I decided to investigate exactly how these wires go together. And it turns out that it's got an outer sort of stranded braided wire around an inner sheathed core of more wire. And I decided I was going to try and just chop out the bad part of the cable and solder the cable back together by taking all of the braided wire and sort of twisting it into a new little lead. So what I decided to do was take the outer sheath back and stagger the solder points. So I would make the negative outer stranded wire lead short on one side and long on the other, and I would make the positive inner wire lead long on one side and then short on the other, so that the two solder joints would be offset. I figured would make the overall cable a little bit less lumpy, and maybe it would look a little bit more professional, properly done. So I've never soldered a joint like this before, and it took a little bit of experimentation. And so there was a point at which I cut back the sheathing of the inner core of the wire so far that I felt like it was just too close for comfort to the outer wire that I had twisted together in a little lead. So I went back and worked on it a little bit more. And here I am soldering with my ancient soldering iron. I think I bought this thing when I was in high school, which was in the 1980s. And it is dangerous. It is easy to burn yourself on. I've never burnt myself badly, but I have burnt myself a little bit on the soldering iron. And it sort of took a while to heat up. And I'm applying flux with my Gerber knife, which I don't carry and don't use very often, but for some reason I didn't have my Swiss Army knife in my pocket when I was in the shop at that moment, so I got out the Gerber. And finally my old flux and me old tarnished solder finally worked. And since the inner core is the positive, I covered it with black E-tape. And then I twisted together the outer core negative wires and fluxed them and soldered them together. And I gave them white E-tape, which, I don't know, you can never get it quite as tight as you want to, and I wasn't confident about yanking on the joint too much, but anyway, here it is, all done, and the test. I switched out the little tiny lead for a big long one to reach the outlet. And it worked! I am thrilled. So now I just have to return the $10 lead that I bought from Amazon. Thanks for watching.